And there we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Off the Post. I'm your host, Jen. Today we're going to talk about, recap Week 2 of NWSL and preview Week 3. But before we do that, we will see what our panelists have been up to. We'll start with you, Danielle. How have you been doing?
I've been okay. Very tired this week, but that's fine because I was in Chicago last week for the game that was canceled because that did not happen. Had lots of fun. I went with somebody who had never been to Chicago, so I was very touristy and had some deep dish pizza. So that's always fun.
And Karen, how are you doing?
I'm good. There you go.
You're going to elaborate on I'm good.
It's Friday. I have work at 7 a.m., but we're going to go with I'm good.
Yeah, it's Friday, and if anybody knows me, knows I work on the weekend, so Fridays kind of suck.
I'm volunteering to wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow, so I feel ya.
Ew.
I'm going to Comic-Con, yay, because I'm a nerd.
Yes, I definitely do want to go to that one of those days, but we are not here to discuss Comic-Con. We are here to discuss the NWSL. Maybe another time we'll do something special on.
If we did that, I mean, you got the perfect people for one of those shows on right now.
Oh, definitely. But we'll save that for another time and get on discussing soccer. So we had some pretty interesting results. We're going to start with the North Carolina versus Portland game. Good result for me. My team won. Karen, talk about the Courage versus Thorns.
It was actually a really exciting game. Like, it was like really back and forth. Kind of the same theme that I saw last week with Portland, except that they won last week. But their backline is kind of sluggish. And it was very apparent against Courage because they have probably, arguably, one of the fastest groups of forwards in the league. So that against a sluggish, kind of like slow Portland backline, that did not work out well for Portland. I think they lucked out that North Carolina only had one, especially because of that PK, which thankfully French was there to stop for Portland. But besides that, French, again, she had some iffy rebounds on her blocks, and that did not look great for Portland and their goalkeeping situation. And it might just be that Betos kind of spoiled Portland fans for a while because she was amazing. So I think that they have some work to do with goalkeeping and with defense. As far as the Courage, I mean, they looked pretty solid. I think probably, Jen, you'd have more to say about that because I wasn't watching them as much as I was watching Portland kind of like back off a little bit. But I mean, that said, Portland did have some really good attempts on goal. Sabrina D'Angelo was good in goal. She made the stops that she needed to make. Just looked like North Carolina Courage was a better team, and that's why they came away with the win.
Yeah, I'll touch on that. I think it says something that if you look, I think it was Woso Weekly who released how many shots each team had, and there were two teams that had less than 20 shots through 2 games, Washington and Portland. Both of them have played the Courage. I don't think it's a coincidence that you have the two teams with the lowest number of shots, and both of them have had the same opponent because that high pressure that North Carolina can put on from the first minute to the last minute is absolutely a killer. I honestly don't know of a team right now that can cope with that for 90 minutes. And it showed. I mean, you saw Portland at the end of the game; they were absolutely exhausted. They just could not handle that for the entire game, and it showed. I kind of wish that bite from Davinia had gone in, because that definitely would have been a Sports Center highlight, because that was just amazing. But she had kind of a game, other than her goal, and other than that, she did have some moments where she kind of gave up possession a little bit. But yeah, I mean, Sabrina D'Angelo was, she wasn't tested as much as I think maybe you would have thought she was, but she was solid when she was tested. She didn't have any moments like that one against the Spirit where she came all the way out and got bailed out by Katie Single's atrocious finishing. So it was just a really good, solid effort from North Carolina. First team in league history to get shutouts in their first 2 games. Go defense, which is kind of surprising, because I thought coming into the season that was their one area of concern, and not giving up a goal in 2 games and not letting their opponents get too many good looks on goal is really impressive and very surprising for me. I'm a little concerned that the forwards are off to a slow start yet again. But they did this last year, and after a few weeks, it started to click for them. So I'm not terribly concerned, maybe just a little bit. I hope maybe this week that they kind of get that working together again. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to add. Good win for the Courage. Portland got to figure out how to deal with that pressure and work around it, because if they can't and these teams match up again, not going to be pretty. So it's back to the drawing board for Portland, and North Carolina got to keep it going for my sake, if for nothing else. We're going to talk about Chicago versus Kansas City. Danielle, not the result you would have wanted, but other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
I was frustrated watching, I'll be honest. Definitely missing something, but if you look at the injury report, it kind of makes sense. I think not having Des in the midfield definitely hurts. It just felt different than week 1. And I mean, obviously missing A-Rod hurts, but I don't know. Chicago definitely was testing. Thank God for Nicole Barnhart. I don't know what we did. KC fans did so right in life to deserve someone like her, but thank goodness. It's just saved our butt time after time. I guess she can't really get too much credit on that PK, which I couldn't see it, but all we saw, it looked like a wrestling takedown. So we were in the back going, eee, and didn't realize it was a PK until like afterwards, which means, yeah. Anywho, injuries are really kicking our butt right now. I know we're going to be without Shay next week, or tomorrow, Sunday, which is going to hurt, but I think Des is coming back. You can definitely tell we're missing, and you could tell last week that we were really missing Des in the midfield. But, for Chicago, I think they're really showing, why a lot of people are picking them up top. I think that things started to click. JJ had an amazing game, scored, which, rude, but, good for her. And it just all was kind of clicking well for them. So I think Chicago is going to be a force to be reckoned with this season.
Do you think, looking at it from the Chicago point of view, that they should maybe try Ertz in the midfield, keep trying that for a little while to see if it keeps working?
I think so. I mean, JJ is a, D-mid at, that was her natural position. She's definitely comfortable there, and it's working for them. I mean, I know there are concerns with national team play, whether, going to a different position is going to hurt or not. I'm not a big fan of changing club positions to make national team happy, but I'm 1,000% club over country, so I guess I'm a bit biased there. I mean, as long as JJ is okay with it, I say keep putting her there, because it really is working, and it's making a real difference for Chicago.
All right. Fair enough.
Short and sweet. That's how I do things.
Yeah, better than some of us can. We'll go now to Seattle versus Houston. Karen, great result for your team. Have at it. The floor is yours. Have at it.
Boom. So first of all, 5 goals. It's always good when you get 5 goals, obviously. But the fact that 5 of their goals were 5 different players is really good news for a team that, honestly, I'm gonna be totally honest, at the beginning of the season, before I saw them play, I was like, where are the goals gonna come from? Who's gonna score? I don't know what's gonna happen. And now we had 5 different players score goals. So that was exciting. I think Pino, Fishlock, and Yanez needed to score early on in the season just for confidence-wise for themselves and for the team. So the fact that those 3 got goals is really good. And then the fact that 2 rookies, yeah,
2 rookies.
two rookies got goals is also really good. Let's see. They pushed Fishlock up higher than they did last week. So she wasn't stuck in the back, always making the defensive plays. And she was more involved in moving forward in the attack. And then they slipped Rumi Itsugi underneath her to do that kind of role. And it worked a lot better as far as scoring goals, obviously. From 1 PK to 5 goals is quite the improvement. But I think Naho even had a better game. She was moving the ball better. She was way more involved in setting up the attack. Bev Yanez had an amazing game, whereas last game she was kind of a little bit, she was a little off in their first game against Sky Blue. So to see her really step up in this game, and she earned that goal 10 times over. So it was good to see her get that goal. And then also 3 cheers for Kristin Mcnabb. She's playing like a veteran right now. She has earned her starting position on the team for sure. So, I mean, it's really good to see her get a goal. And then, let's see, I'm looking at my notes while I'm talking. This is the Reign squad from 2014 in a way, except better because they're not relying on Little as much because she's not here at all. So the fact that they were creating goals in various different ways and not just in the one like Kim Little way is really exciting for a Reign fan to watch. And then just seeing Megan Rapinoe score a goal like that is really exciting for soccer fans, for fans of the U.S. team, for fans of Reign, for fans of just her. And it was like a typical superstar goal moment for Pino, where she said in like the press conference something about she should have taken an extra touch on it to like settle it, but she was just like, nah, and just like took it, and then it went in. And then, yeah, I know. And then she did her like weird inside joke celebration, and then Carson Pickett slapped her on the ass. So go Reign. As far as Houston, it's true, she did. If you watch the clip, she runs up and just whoosh on her ass. It's the greatest.
Sports.
I know, so good. And so as far as Houston, a little more sobering, I think. It was tough to watch from a Houston perspective. And I know there were a lot of hot takes on Jane Campbell and the fact that she shouldn't have been started, but I think it was more than just the fact that she shouldn't have been started in goal. This is not an easy thing to take when it's like your first professional match and you get scored on 5 times. And this really wasn't the game that he should have started her in. And I get why he's trying to do that he wants to find his first goalie by switching between the two. But like, this was not the game for that at all. You're going to Seattle their home stadium, and Seattle was not gonna be easy. So that was just bad. That was bad. But on top of that, I think they really didn't give her much support. There was no support in defense for her. And I mean, Van Wyck was sick with the flu, so she wasn't there, and that was a big player in their first game. So that was bad. But instead of just making that one like small, he like switched up a bunch of different players and put them in places where they shouldn't have been, and like he put like Faulkner in midfield or something like that, and it was just like, Randy, don't, please. So I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but I don't know who they should start in goal for this game this weekend, because I mean, you could put Williams back in, but then that would make Campbell's like confidence level just like, because it would be like almost like she's being punished. But then at the same time, Williams definitely has earned that spot as like their starting goalkeeper, honestly. I don't think that Jane Campbell is altogether ready for that. So, yeah.
I have a hot take that I'm going to get in trouble with some of our fellow panelists, but I think put Campbell in goal against Washington. I mean, you know, no offense, but, you know, Washington's not strong right now. Look at the injury report. They're missing a lot of players. I think, if anything, it's a perfect game for her to get a little confidence, and then maybe put Williams the game afterwards.
Smart. Didn't think about that.
We're gonna take a little trip on the Wayback Machine to April of 2015. Seattle, in their home opener, you know, opened their season with a 5-1 win. Megan Rapinoe had a hat trick. It was just the rain firing on all cylinders against a severely overmatched team. You want to know who was in goal that game? Take a guess.
I didn't hear what team was playing in my memory shot.
They were playing the Western New York Flash in their home opener in 2015. Yes,
it was D'Angelo, right?
Yes. Sabrina D'Angelo, her professional debut against the Reign in Memorial Stadium, gets shellacked for 5 goals.
Yeah.
Less than 2 years later, she's saving 3 penalty kicks and hoisting a championship trophy.
Yeah.
And the reason I bring this up is because she went through some difficult struggles in her rookie year. She had to sit on the bench for a while. She had an injury issue. She had that really rough game. Did not get a shutout until 2016. That their first match of 2016.
That's
let me finish. She went through these struggles, these ups and downs. You know, had some bad losses along the way. Gave up. Had some games where she gave up a number of goals. The point I'm trying to make is that you cannot tell me that having those tough experiences. Yes, I'm well aware that her first match was against Kansas City, Danielle. I was trying to spare you a bit. But you cannot tell me that those bad experiences did not help her become a better keeper. And you look at her now; she's gone 2 games, has a defense in front of her that most people pointed to as the weak link. They haven't given up a goal in 2 games, and I think she has a lot to do with that, because she's been very solid when she has been called into action. So to bring this back to Houston, I don't think this is going to be the last rough experience for Jane Campbell in goal. I think if she takes this experience and learns from it and uses it to help her get better, I think she will be a much better keeper down the road, having gone through rough games like this. Now, having said that, I will agree that it was absolutely a mistake for Randy Waldrum to start her this game. I think he should have stuck with Williams for at least one more game, especially because the Dash have never beaten Seattle. They've never even gotten a point against Seattle. They have lost now 8 straight against the Reign.
Yep.
I don't think the Dash will win if Williams was in goal. I still think they probably would have lost. I don't think they would have given up 5 goals. Probably would have been a 2-1, 3-1 maybe. But I don't think it would have been as disastrous of a performance from them as it was. This is not all on Campbell, though, by the way. She's a rookie. You never know how a rookie is going to react in her first game. But I think it was just a terrible decision. I don't know if it was 100% Waldrum or if maybe there was some pressure from outside forces telling him, hey, you need to start Campbell in one of these games. It's like, oh, I'll put her in just to shut some people up. Because there have been whispers of Federation meddling with club teams before. So that should not have happened. That absolutely, a game that bad, it could have been avoided with one simple move. And like Karen said, making all these other changes, I realize there were a couple players out, but I think there maybe could have been one move that would have fixed everything. Instead, he makes all these little changes, put people in bad positions, and it was just a disaster all around. Now, I'm going to say this. I think if we get to the halfway point of the season, they get to 12 games in, and the Dash are at or below 500, I think Randy Waldron's gone. I don't think he'll last this season. I think he has to turn the ship around and turn it around this week and start getting some momentum. Because if they go on a streak like they had last year where they lost 6 games in a row, 1-0, he is going to be gone so fast.
Yep.
He will be out of there so quickly. I mean, even an organization like the Dynamo, which has usually been pretty reluctant to pull the trigger on coaching changes unless something disastrous happens, I think that'll be a point where they'll be like, okay, you're out of here. We've had enough. Thank you for your time. We're moving on. So,
yep.
I hope this was I hope for the sake of the Dash and their fans, this was just a bad fever dream, like a certain Kansas City game that was in Portland from a few years ago, and they ended up winning the championship that year. They still had that.
I don't recall that game.
Are you willfully forgetting or honestly don't remember?
Willfully, 100%, because I could tell you that Minnie scored her first goal that game, so I definitely do remember.
Yeah. So we will move on.
Thank you.
Where was it? Oh yes. Boston versus Sky Blue. Yeah. Wow, Boston. Where's this Boston team then? That was just great. A much better performance than I think what they showed in week 1. You saw what Rose Lavelle could bring in. Really good strike then, Tasha Dowie. I'm not blaming Sheridan for that because I don't really think there was much she could have done. Other than that, she had a really strong game. Abby Smith had a really great game for Boston. I honestly can't point to one Boston player and say they were terrible. I mean, there were some that were better than others, but I don't think anyone on that had a really bad game. But as far as Sky Blue goes, man, they were just so fat. I mean, where was that dynamic offense that was just shredding the Reign in season 1, in week 1? I mean, they were just cutting through Seattle left, right, and center. And this week they're like, where were they? Kerr was invisible. O'Hara was pretty much everywhere on the field trying to do everything like she usually has had to do. Don't know what Galton was doing because she was pretty So yeah, I mean there isn't a whole lot to say. Good for Boston. Sky Blue, what are you doing? Get your lives right, because you showed in week 1 that you're better than this. So hopefully it was just a glitch for them. And Boston, I hope you keep it going, because I don't want to. For this, just for your fans, I do not want to see you finish last again, because they've been through enough. Karen, do you have anything to add on this game?
I think Purse, this was her debut. I think she had a really solid game when she came on the pitch. The fact that you see a rookie taking that kind of initiative to take on defenders and take shots like that is really good. It's good news for Boston. Lavelle had her crap together this week and was like really, really making some dynamic plays, and Dowie was on fire again. She was making really good runs, and that's how the goal started. So good job, Boston. And I do still think that Galton and O'Hara could be like that combination that like really, really works for Sky Blue moving forward, as long as they're connecting. But yeah, they weren't really connecting in this game. So it'll be interesting to see how they move forward together as a pairing. And I don't mean that in any way that Tumblr might misconstrue. I just mean on the
Stop it, Tumblr.
Don't even.
Shut up, Tumblr. Shut up. So, yeah, Galton and O'Hara, going to be a good one. Go Hara. Let's call them that.
No, stop.
Don't encourage them, Kay.
Shut up, Tumblr. Stop watching.
You posted on Tumblr today.
I sure did.
I reblogged
it. Go away.
Go.
Danielle,
yes.
You see, Sky Blue has 3 really strong attackers. You have Kerr, you have Galton, and you have O'Hara. None of them are what you would classify as a number 9 type of forward. They're all 3 better on the wing. Do you think Sky Blue might try maybe going to a 4-3-3, maybe have Rocky up top and maybe put Rose in the midfield? Because I think, because she seems like a better center forward, maybe a false 9 type than any of those 3. From the Sky Blue perspective, is that something that you think Christy Hawley should consider?
I do. I'm imagining it, and it's really good right now in my head. Like, I'm liking I think that might be a really good idea. I think at least try it out. I think it really could make a difference for Sky Blue. I mean, talent's there. You just got to get that formation right, and I think that's definitely a good option.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Also, real quick, you all called me crazy for having Boston so high up in my rankings. I think if we get this Boston every week, I think they could surprise. And I love Abby Smith, and she's going to be the pretty good keeper this season and forever. And I'm not just saying that because her mom could hurt me.
Oh, short and to the point. Yeah, I will say, though, for anybody who's criticizing some Sky Blue, because I've seen some criticism from some of the players, they're rookies. They're going to make
babies.
mistakes. Leave them alone. Let them
leave Sky Blue alone.
God, quit picking on them for one bad game. It was their 2nd game. Leave them alone.
NWSL fans are brutal, man. Like, y'all need to take some chill pills.
I mean, I'm brutal too, but I keep the really good stuff to myself.
So am I. I would never say that to a player.
I'm not saying don't be constructively critical. But don't call them trash because they had a bad game.
That's just mean.
Yeah,
it is
mean.
It is mean. Cut it out.
That's where I come from. Trash means something different. So
yeah, we live in one of those boring states in the U.S. So
Karen got me.
Okay. So, yeah, good win for Boston. Glad to see them get a win in week 2 rather than week 6 like they had last year. Sky Blue, you're another one back to the drawing board. Hope you do better next week. Final game, the TV game. Orlando hosting Washington. Karen, long-awaited debut of Marta. What did you think of this game?
Well, since you started off with Marta, I will continue with Marta. When she came on the pitch, she definitely made a difference in Orlando's attack. Like single-handedly at first, once she actually like got her feet under her and like kind of got into the swing of the game. And then she started making like connections with some of the Orlando players. And I think that's where that goal came from in the last 4 minutes, Spirit. For goodness sakes, guys. Oh my God. But anyways, that's a different issue that they have to deal with. But Marta definitely did make a difference. As far as some of the Orlando fans are concerned, she is going to like single-handedly hoist the trophy for them, and I just don't think so. But nice try, guys. Wishful thinking. As far as the Spirit performance, again, like they just need to figure some stuff out, and it sucks because they have so many injured players right now. But they have so much to figure out. That was a good goal that they had. The first, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes of the second half, they were pretty good in their attack. They had most of the attack, I think, and then that's where their goal came from. But as far as defense, Orlando was kind of spotty. Ashlyn was kind of having like a game. I mean, she whiffed that one, and that's how like Monica had to come up and make that save that she won Save of the Week for. And it was just like, Orlando still has a lot to do as far as defense, I think. And then again, they still have so much to figure out with how they're going to score goals. I thought Danica Evans had that like bright spot of like brilliance in that goal that she scored. I mean, it was spectacular. I don't really know if she even meant to do that like weird, like strange, like half blind, like back heel pass to herself past the Spirit defender, but it was rad, whether she meant to do it or not. And that was really cool. So yeah, and that won goal of the week, didn't it? So, I mean, there was a reason it was pretty tight. But yeah, honestly, just like Spirit is so rough right now. It's hard to watch because I want them to do well for them and for their fans, and it's not clicking. So yeah, it was tough to watch the replay of that game.
Danielle, I have a question for you. A lot of the talk in preseason around Orlando was how their back line being so full of internationals was going to be this great strength, and then you have Ashlyn Harris. It's like who's going to score on them? First 2 games of the season, they've looked a little shaky. What do you think has been the missing thing for them? Is it players not playing in the right position? Is it lack of familiarity? Is it players not having good games? What do you think is the biggest cause of that?
It's hard to tell, but I'm a big believer in chemistry, especially for defense. If you don't have good chemistry on there, you can have the best 4 defenders in the world on the same back line and still let in goals. So I don't know, maybe it is people are just not comfortable with how they're playing, but I feel like it's maybe a chemistry issue, to be honest. Which it's still early in the season. I mean, they have plenty of opportunity to get that going. Ashlyn was out international duty right at the end of the preseason. Of course, I know all of our U.S. internationals were out. But that's a big thing with goalkeeper and their chemistry with their backline. So that's my guess, at least, especially with all the talent that's back there.
Karen, I had a question for you. Let me see if I can find it again. On a scale of 1 to 10, how annoying was the commentary talking about Marta every 5 seconds?
Okay, real talk. Honestly, the commentary in a lot of these games was a little hard. But yeah, I mean, the constant talking about Marta, it was like another Mallory Pugh is only 17, and another
Haran.
Yeah, Haran skipped college to go professional. And it's like, and I understand, like, there are new people that are turning on the TV and they're like, I didn't know that Brazilian player was playing in this league. Oh my God. And so I get it. Like, they have to talk about it, like, maybe like once every 20 minutes or so that she's on the pitch. And like, maybe not before that, like maybe chill. But yeah, I mean, I don't remember which game it was. I think it was the Portland, North Carolina game. That commentator, she was like screaming a lot because there was a lot happening. So I get it. She was super excited, but she would like, her decibel levels were like akin to that one commentator. I think it was during Kansas City home games, who was like, you obviously, Danielle, didn't hear those because you were at the games.
Well, but wait, which one? Because there were 2 Kansas City commentators. There was one that put everybody to sleep, and then there was one that yelled half his words.
That one. The guy that would yell, like, the ball would, like, go to another player, and he'd be like, oh my God, and you'd be like, why? Why do you have to do that? Like, my levels were way up during those games, and it was like another game of like my levels being up here, and they really didn't have to be. So I think, I mean, and that's just probably an experience thing. Like, you're not gonna have a commentator like, I don't know, Ali Wagner, like doing that sort of like loudness thing. So, I mean, it's just that. But yeah, as far as like the Orlando game, I was like, all right, yep, Marta's here. We get it. We got it. Thanks, everybody. We're all excited, but let's chill out.
I don't have much else to add on this game, but I will say that was probably the best defensive game I have seen Estelle Johnson play since she was with the Flash in 2013. I think the year she took off from soccer really killed her, because she came back in 2015 and she was a little better last year, but she was absolutely immense this game. I think Orlando might have had more clear cut chances on goal if she hadn't been so good. And that's another thing, the commentary, it's like, Estelle Johnson would make this incredible sound in the middle, like, oh, Marta should have been ordered. I'm like, you're not going to give any credit to Estelle Johnson for making an awesome play. It's all about Marta. Okay. It's all about Marta. Come on, how about giving some credit to an awesome defensive move?
Get used to it, guys, all season long.
Yeah, and then there was that Marta play, like, that was at the very end of the game, and LeBay, like, cut it off, like, perfectly, so that she had, like, no angle to shoot on. And they were like, oh, Mom, I love Marta. And I was like, excuse me. That was actually really good, like, goalkeeping. Like, she was in, like, the perfect position to cut off, like, anywhere that Marta could have. And they were like, oh, it was almost in. And I was like, guys, you need to, like, get your heads out of Marta's ass, frankly. She is, again, and I'm not saying this to diss Marta, because she really is not an overrated player. Like, she is great. But you're up here and I need you down here, okay?
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't take this out on Marta. It's not her fault. She's not the one telling the commentators to talk about her every 5 seconds. It's probably some lifetime exec squawking in their ear. I don't know, but it was overkill, and
Yeah.
I would like there to be as few Marta mentions as possible during the next game, which fortunately does not feature Orlando. So.
Yeah, don't tempt them. They might still do it.
If sending something out, Jen, Allie, please do not talk about Marta at all, or as little as you can if you have to.
Do it,
please. So that's all I wanted to say. First ever draw for Orlando at home. Washington got a point, but it might have been a very costly point, as we'll find out. So, do you guys have any final thoughts on this week that was before we move on to predictions?
Speaking of Washington's defense, Cassie Coleman, new Iron Woman, which I love me some Cassie Coleman, and she started that streak playing for my team. So, give it up for the Iron Woman.
Wait,
2014. They said 2014. If they lied to me. If they lied, that's what I said. I heard 2014. If that is a lie, I'm quitting. I am deleting. I was proud of that. I was told 2014.
Live in an alleyway with a bottle in a paper sack, and that's it. She's done.
I'm done.
Because I think it might have been Dan Lauletta who said that was her 42nd straight game. And
somebody said 2014.
We'll have to check on that, because the number of consecutive minutes would have been put that as 42nd straight game, which would have had it started her first game in Boston. So I don't know.
Bullshit.
Yeah, you would be pissed at that, but
she cursed. Whoops. Did she play all of the 2014 final? I don't remember that game.
Well, I think it's only regular season minutes.
Well, okay, so that might be iffy because their last. I don't remember.
Their last game that season. Oh God, what's their last game? I think they might have had a loss.
Chicago.
I think it was. Yeah, it was a lot 2-1 loss to Chicago because the backup in 2014 started that game. I do
Sarah
remember
Keene, I love her. I miss her.
Keene. I remember she did start that game, and I was like, thank God, because Barney looked like she was on death's door before that, and I think she needed the rest. So, but yeah, way to go, Cassie Coleman. A little sad you broke BT's shutout record that she started on my team. That's a fact, but 2 players with Casey ties top 2 Iron Woman streak. So way to go, Cassie. All right, so we are going to move on to predictions. We are going to start. Let me bring it up. Why is this not coming up for me? I hate my computer sometimes. We're going to start with the game on TV. Portland hosting Chicago. We're going to start with you, Danielle. Who you got?
I had a draw. I did not write down a score because we're not putting scores on that scorecard anymore, so I took the lazy woman's way out. I think it's going to be a good game. 1-1 draw.
Karen.
I am giving Portland the 1-0 win over Chicago because it's in Portland, and when you have those specific fans rooting for you, it's like a superpower, basically. So yeah, Portland 1, Chicago 0.
I think for Portland, it's gonna come down to how much are they missing
Dagny.
And I think they said she was listed as out on the injury report. So
yeah,
I mean, she's huge for them. So
yeah,
I'm gonna go with a Portland win, although I think it might actually be closer to a draw because these teams It's either a narrow Portland win or a draw. And they have once had like 5 of them in a row. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with a narrow Portland win. North Carolina hosting Orlando. We'll go back to you, Karen.
North Carolina is gonna win this one. I think 1-0. Is it in North Carolina or Orlando?
It's in North Carolina.
I'm gonna stick with 1-0, but as I'm thinking about it right now, if it's in North Carolina, probably be more like 2, but I'm gonna stick with 1 because that's what I already said for our little chart thingy. So,
Danielle?
Oh, did you say me? My computer's freezing and frozen. There's a couple times where you guys were talking. I was like, did you freeze? Did I freeze? Nope, no one else is moving. I'm moving. I froze. I had North Carolina as well. I think it's 2-1. I think Orlando is going to get one through. Maybe Marta? Huh? Maybe a Marta? Marta!
Oh my God, Marta!
I hate you both now.
I will be winning. Unless you're mad that we're cursing them, and then that's not even fair. I'm trying to do my job.
Yeah.
So calm down. No, I think North Carolina is gonna get their offense going, and 2-1.
I'm gonna go. I think I might have said 1-0 when I posted our predictions, but I think I'm gonna change that to 2-0. I hope Paul Riley took the forwards back to finishing school like he did last year after they lost to Orlando. He took them to finishing school and their offense just picked right up. So I hope
to learn some etiquette at finishing school.
Because they really need a refresher because the finishing's been bad.
I wish I had a book I put on top of my head.
So yeah, I'm gonna go to 2-0 Carolina. I think I'm iffy on whether or not Orlando will score. I hope they don't because I like seeing my team not get scored on. So gonna hope to keep that going. I'm gonna go 2-0. Next game, Boston versus Seattle. Back to you, Danielle.
I had, as much as I just bragged about Boston having like a great season, gonna win, all that, I have Seattle winning. I mean, Seattle's got that confidence, especially after last week. Players, like Karen was saying, you got Bev and Pino and all that with their confidence back. I think that it's going to be close, which is the theme of my predictions this week. 1-0 Seattle. Maybe 2-0.
The Pino's New Groove, a movie by Karen, you picking your Reign to win this week?
Yeah, of course I am. I have them down for 2-0. I think any other season I would give them more than 2-0. I'd give them more like 3 maybe, but this season Boston is doing some really good shit. So I'm gonna go with 2-0. Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle's never lost to Boston. I think that streak's going to continue, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Matt Beard isn't going to be totally crazy and put stupid crap in like Randy Waldron did. I would say probably a 1-0, 2-0, 2-1 maybe. But Copp's been really great for Seattle, so it's going to be really hard for something to get past her. Even though she gave up 1 at the death, and I'm sure she was annoyed as hell about that. So
you could see it on all of their faces. They were like, ugh.
They were like, man, we're winning 5-1, but damn, we wanted that clean sheet.
Yep.
So yeah. So I'll go 2-1. I'll be generous. Washington is hosting Houston in a battle of the MASH units. Back to you, Karen. Spirit get their first win of the season?
No. I actually, to put it bluntly, they do not. I have them at a tie, 1-1 with Houston. I think Houston will figure some things out again. I think Randy Waldrum kind of has realized that game against Reign, he made a lot of mistakes. So I think that they're going to at least get one, and I think that they're going to keep Washington to one. I think Washington has the talent to at least get one, but who knows? I didn't think about all of those injuries, so.
Danielle, what's your prediction?
I also had a draw, made this prediction before the injury report. So, 7 out hurts. I mean, I think 0-0 or 1-1, to be honest. But
Yeah.
You can quote me on that.
I'm not sure is a valid prediction. But
I went to journalism school, okay? I can tell you that is.
Well, was that the same place where Sean Hannity got his degree in journalism?
Excuse me, Iowa State University is a very prestigious college, and I will not stand for this.
You have to put a little
I
bow
froze
tie on.
right when I was making a stand.
Hey, I could have said Ann Coulter, but I thought that would have been.
Oh dear God.
Okay, before we say
fake news.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a draw. Scoreless draw. Oh, like you said, maybe a 1-1. It's gonna be whose midfield sucks less in this game because they're both pretty banged up right now. Final game of the week is New Jersey versus Kansas City. Will your Blues get a win on the road, Danielle?
I will say I made this prediction before the injury report. So Shea's out. Shea Groom is out with a broken rib, which, ouch. I do have KC winning. Have them winning. Knowing that Sky Blues without Piercy and Kerr makes my prediction, not seem as crazy. I think Casey can pull it off. It really depends on which Sydney Leroux we get this game. I didn't see Des Scott on the injury report, and so if we have Des back in the midfield, that's going to be huge. You can tell we've been missing her. I'm going to go with 2-1. I don't know who those 2 goals are coming from. I think Sid might get one, but who knows? It'll be fun to see.
Karen, you think this is going to be a 2-1 or the boring 0-0 draw?
No, actually, I have KC winning again before the injury report. But I think that, like Danielle said, with Piercy gone, with Kerr gone, I think it kind of balances it out. I think Sky Blue needs to figure some things out, and I think that FCKC, like, they just have such a solid defense. And then Barnhart. I mean, when you have Brune and Barnhart, double B, like you can't go wrong. So it's gonna be double B. So I think that it's gonna be 1-0 FCKC.
Yeah, I think I said 1-0 in our predictions. I'm not gonna deviate from that. So yeah, I think we're all solid with Kansas City winning. So we talked a little bit about the injuries while we were doing our predictions. I think this is probably the earliest in the season where we've seen so many injuries. I mean, compared to last season. Danielle, what do you think is causing the seeming rash of knocks and bumps?
Sorry, I had a really bad joke come to my head, and it was too political. And I don't know if I can say it.
Go for it.
I was gonna say something like, we live in a post-Trump world, and nothing is good, and everything's awful. And I wasn't listening to the rash. I was just thinking of. I'm crying now, but everything bad started happening, and a couple months ago. That's all I'm gonna say. Everything sucks. Everything's awful.
It's true.
Karen, I want to hear your on this. Again, we've seen some teams have a lot of injuries. I don't remember a team ever having 7 players listed as out at once. Do you think it's overtraining? Do you think it's the quality of the surfaces, the officiating? Is there one factor that you can kind of point to and say this is why we might be getting so many injuries?
I do think it. I do think the idea of it being officiating is kind of funny. They're like, I've had it with these refs. I'm not doing this anymore. I don't know. It's rough just because I don't know what the team dynamic is, what the feelings are just in general on that team. If they know what people out here in fan world are saying about them, if there are problems between players and the coaching staff or the ownership, just who knows if any of it is psychological. Obviously, Lohman's ACL tear is not psychological. But I mean, there are probably a lot of factors that go into having that many people be unavailable. And it might just be training. And it might also be the surface. Everybody knows that turf is crap. And if they're practicing on turf, I don't know, is there a field that they actually play games on? Is that grass?
The soccer plex is grass. Okay. Danielle, is slope grass or turf?
Swope is grass.
Okay.
But
there's a couple grass fields.
Yeah, Swope, where they play is grass. Where they practice, I think, might be turf. But I mean, A-Rod tore it on grass, so.
Grass, okay. Okay, because I'd seen some things that they were saying it was turf. I'm like, I thought it was, because I think the only fields now that are turf are Portland, Seattle, and Boston. I think everywhere else is grass. So
yeah,
I mean, and we're still seeing all these injuries. So I don't know if it's that or what. But man, oh man, oh man, it's just every team has felt it in some way, shape, or form. I hope they figure something out and we get into a thing where we're not seeing 7 players out for one team, which is just absolutely brutal. So hopefully that clears up. Does anybody have any final thoughts before we sign out tonight?
No. I'm good.
I think we said
I have nothing to rant about. I'm good.
I think we said everything that we wanted to say. So that is going to be it for us. Don't know when we'll be back on the air next week. We'll figure that out and let you guys know. Until then, this has been another episode of Off the Post, and we all know what to do.